Morning for Sunday, September 27th. We've got an NFL Sunday, and a familiar face returns to Pennsylvania for an intriguing game today. Bill O'Brien and the Houston Texans play at the Steelers at 1 o'clock. I want to get into Bill O'Brien's legacy among Penn State fans, because one thing that's fascinating to me is I know some of you out there don't necessarily hold Bill O'Brien in all that high regard from his Penn State tenure, which to me is, quite frankly, just baffling, because I have tremendous respect for what Bill O'Brien did during his time with Penn State. But he left Penn State, and believe me, I've talked to many fans over the last number of years, especially on my radio show, who would call in and say, Bill O'Brien left Penn State. He was only trying to use Penn State to get to the NFL. I just don't understand that line of thinking when Bill O'Brien came in, kept the roof on the ship at Penn State for a couple of years during just incredibly difficult circumstances after the scandal and the sanctions. Did a terrific job, was a National Coach of the Year one year. Now look, anybody who got to know Bill O'Brien when he was at Penn State knew that he was going to go to the NFL when he got an opportunity. Bill O'Brien is an NFL head coach. James Franklin is a college football head coach. James Franklin excels. He's tremendous at all of the things you have to do in college football that aren't necessarily really about football. He's great with the charisma, the marketing, the brand, having a say in the athletic department, all of these things, talking to alumni, boosters, all of these things that a CEO kind of head coach has to do in college football now. And that's not to take anything away from James Franklin as a football coach. It's just that in college football, you have to do all of these other things and juggle all of these balls in the air. Well, Bill O'Brien wants to coach football. And in the NFL, you don't have to do a lot of the rest of that stuff. You coach football. That's what Bill O'Brien is. He is a football guy 24/7. He doesn't want to have to deal with all of the rest of the stuff that comes with being a college football coach. And my goodness, during the scandal at Penn State, he had to do way more even than your typical college football coach. Now, has he been a tremendous success in the NFL? Well, maybe not, but he's won 4 AFC South titles with the Houston Texans and gotten to the playoffs 4 times. He's got a 2-4 record in the playoffs. He's kind of always embattled a little bit because sometimes the Texans don't pass the eye test, but he has had success. He's 52-46 in the NFL, which is, hey, if you got a winning record in the NFL in his 7th season already, believe it or not, Bill's in his 7th season. But he's done a nice job. Has he been great? No. Has he been terrible? No. He's brought a lot of criticism on himself with a lot of moves that he's made as now the general manager of the Texans football operations as well. But again, I want to get back to the Penn State fan perspective. If you're out there and you begrudge Bill O'Brien for leaving Penn State, quite frankly, I just don't know what to tell you. I mean, he came here, he did everything he possibly could to right the ship during his 2 years. Yes, he did leave. Yes, he probably always wanted an opportunity to get to the NFL whenever one would arrive. But don't begrudge him for that. If you're a Penn State fan, you should be thankful for what Bill O'Brien did in his 2 years, because he served a tremendous bridge to get to James Franklin, who obviously has taken the program back to elevated national prominence. All right, folks, enjoy the games today.